On Global TV News Express, President Tinubu joins Muslim faithfuls to observe Eid prayers in Abuja. In business, federal government launches credit scheme for CNP conversion. On the foreign scene, 4 people killed and another 21 injured in a mass Russian drone attack on the central Ukrainian city. And in sports, Nigerian boxer Olarewaju died after collapsing in Ghana fight. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to the News Express on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Queen Agaba. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and StarTimes channel 276. You can also download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. President Bola Tinubu joined Muslim faithfuls at the National Eid Prayer Ground, Abuja, to observe the Eid al-Fitr prayers that marks the end of the holy month of Ramadan. Tinubu was received by top government officials, religious leaders, and other dignitaries. Samuel Odi completes the story.
Today, millions of Muslims around the world are celebrating Eid al-Fitr, marking the end of Ramadan, the holy month of fasting. President Tinubu called for national unity and progress of the nation.
We should give thanks to Almighty Allah. We saw the beginning, we started together, and we are ending together in good health and in happiness, in prayers for our country, for all our people. We should continue the good deed as taught by the holy month of Ramadan. Care for the vulnerable, the orphans, the less privileged, everything that we have observed. We should not revert to the path that is not acceptable with the teaching of this month. That's what I pray for.
The Vice President Kashim Shettima and Deputy Senate President were at attendance at the National Prayer Ground to observe the Eid prayers. Samuel Odi reporting for Global Television News.
The Christian Association of Nigeria, 19 northern states, and the Federal Capital Territory has congratulated Muslims on the successful completion of Ramadan and the celebration of Eid al-Fitr. In a statement by the chairman, Reverend John Hayab, and the Secretary General, Bishop Mohammed Naga, Northern Can highlights the spiritual significance of Ramadan. The group also expressed grief over the killing of 16 travelers in Uromi, Edo State, describing the incident as a tragic loss to humanity. The Muslim faithfuls in Makurdi, the Benue State capital, have united in their congregation to recite and offer Eid prayers shoulder to shoulder. This is to commemorate the holy month of Ramadan. Felicity Ndere has details.
It is an Islamic holiday marking the end of Ramadan, the month when Muslims fast daily from dawn to sunset. During the prayers, the Imam urged the congregation to increase their worship to God as well as charity deeds, saying that they need to emulate the Holy Prophet Muhammad.
O you Muslims, I advise you and my humble self to fear Allah the Exalted, because that is the commandment given to both the past and present generations. Indeed, we have enjoined upon those who were given the scripture before you, and you as well, to fear Almighty Allah. That is to follow the injunctions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Speaking with Global TV News, some worshippers thank Allah for the strength, privilege and opportunity to be able to fulfill the demands the holy month of Ramadan brings.
So during this Ramadan fasting, it makes all the Muslims come nearer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we also pray to our country to live in a peace and harmony.
the whole essence of this holy month of Ramadan, they have a lot of secrets. You pray, God will answer. Anything you know in your mind, you can do it. God will answer it. That is the secret and the take about this holy Ramadan.
Eid prayers usually follows the final day of fasting in Ramadan, and it is celebrated for 3 consecutive days. Typically, it sees gatherings to break the fast. In Makurdi, Felicity Ndere, Clover TV News.
President Bola Tinubu is hosting his first set of guests for the Eid Fitri homage at the Presidential Banquet Hall, State House, Abuja. The guests include some lawmakers representing the Federal Capital Territory at the National Assembly, area councils, chairpersons of the FCT, traditional rulers, leaders of the Christian and Muslim communities, senior judicial officers, among others. The opening prayers were said by the chairman of the FCT chapter of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Dr. Timothy Amazon, and the Murshid of the National Mosque, Professor Sas Galadanshi. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project has called on Senate President Godswill Akpabio and the House of Representatives, Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, to immediately withdraw a bill seeking to impose a 6-month jail term, a fine of 100,000 naira or both on eligible Nigerians who fail to vote in national and state elections. In a letter signed by SERAP's Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadare, the organization described the proposed legislation as oppressive and a violation of citizens' rights under the Nigerian Constitution and international human rights law. The governor, Benue State, Hyacinth Alia, joined millions of Nigerians and world leaders to celebrate President Bola Tinubu on his 73rd birthday anniversary. Alia, in a statement by his chief press secretary, Teso Kula, in Makurdi, appreciated God for the gift of life and the strength granted to President. He says that President Tinubu has shown Benue considerable love, given the numerous appointments, infrastructural development projects, and other federal government interventions in the state. The governor appreciated the president for always putting Benue at the front burner of his renewed hope agenda. The 16th Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi II, has supported the ban on the annual Salah Durbar, emphasizing that the decision was necessary for peace and security in the state. Speaking at an iftar dinner at his palace on Saturday, Sanusi described the Durbar, an age-old cultural tradition, as non-essential compared to the safety of Kano residents. President Bola Tinubu has given presidential assent to the Investment and Securities Bill, providing for a robust regulatory framework in Nigeria's capital market. According to a statement made available by the Securities and Exchange Commission, the new Investment and Securities Act 2024 repeals the Investments and Securities Act 2007 and introduces key reforms aimed at boosting investor confidence, strengthening market oversight, and aligning Nigeria's financial markets with global best practices. Commenting on this milestone, the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Dr. Emomotimi Agama, lauded the President's assent as a transformative step for the capital market. The Kano State Police Command has dismissed as false the social media reports claiming an attack on an 18-seater passenger bus in Kano. This is contained in a statement issued by the command spokesperson, SP Abdullahi Kiyawa, in Kano. Kiyawa says this report was entirely false and misleading. The police command reaffirms its commitment to maintaining law and order, ensuring the safety and security of all residents, and promoting harmony among diverse communities. The Commissioner of Police, Lagos State Command, Olorundare Jimo, has ordered the immediate deployment of conventional police personnel, the elite strike forces, and tactical units of the Nigerian Police Force to all strategic locations in Lagos State, saying that the move is to ensure a hitch-free Eid Fitri celebrations. In a statement posted on his X handle, the police public relations officer, Police Lagos State Command Chief Superintendent of Police Benjamin Hundeyin says the development will also target identified black spots and flashpoints to prevent crime and criminality, remove fear of crimes from the mind of all Lagosians and visitors alike during the celebrations. The constituents of Edo South Senatorial District and the human rights communities say they have lost confidence in the senator representing the area, Senator Neda Imaswe, over alleged failure, corruption, abuse of office, and betrayal of public trust. The constituent said it was formally initiated the recall of the Labour Party senator and also demanded his prosecution over the circumstances surrounding his alleged disbarment by the New York State Supreme Court in 2010. The group added that given the international nature of these allegations, Interpol's cooperation is necessary to ensure a thorough, independent, and global investigation. You're watching the live broadcast of the News Express. When News Express returns, NESG urges federal government to sustain 2.2 million barrels per day oil production for 2025 budget feasibility. Details coming shortly after the break. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. If you've just joined us, this is Global Television, bringing you live broadcast of the News Express. In business, the federal government of Nigeria has launched a credit scheme worth 2.5 billion naira to encourage the conversion of vehicles to use of compressed natural gas, CNG, and the manufacturing of kits. According to a statement by the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative, PCNGI, the credit scheme is tagged Credit Access for Light and Mobility, CALM. It was stated that the initiative is aimed at easing energy and transportation costs in Nigeria. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Barrister Ezenwo Nyesom Wike, has vowed to aggressively pursue revenue collection through taxes and ground rent payment in the FCT to fund impactful projects in the state capital amid a record collection of 262 billion naira in internally generated revenue for 2024. In a statement by his Director of Press, Anthony Ogunleye, the minister stressed the FCT administration's intent to aggressively pursue revenue collection within legal boundaries. The acting executive chairman of FCT IRS, Michael Ango, revealed this during the service's annual sensitization campaign aimed at mobilizing FCT residents for voluntary tax compliance. The Nigeria Economic Summit Group, NESG, has called on the federal government to maintain crude oil production at 2.2 million barrels per day to ensure the viability of the 2025 budget and stabilize the economy. Dr. Tayo Aduloju, Chief Executive Officer of NESG, made the recommendation during the group's media briefing on its 2025 strategic vision and private sector macroeconomic outlook in Abuja. He emphasized that sustaining this production level is critical for revenue generation, foreign exchange stability, and economic growth. The U.S. Embassy in Syria has warned its citizens of an increased possibility of attacks during the upcoming holiday, marking the end of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. The U.S. Department of State cautions U.S. citizens of the increased possibility, which could target embassies, international organizations, and Syrian public institutions in Damascus. China's President Xi Jinping has sent a message of condolence to Myanmar's junta chief a day after a devastating earthquake killed at least 1,000 people. Xi expressed deep sorrow over the destruction and says China is willing to provide Myanmar the needed assistance to support people in affected areas. In his message to junta chief Ong Helang, China's foreign ministry said the 7.7 magnitude quake struck northwest of the central Myanmar city of Sagaing on Friday afternoon, followed minutes after by a 6.7 magnitude aftershock. A Ukrainian area's regional head says 4 people have been killed and another 21 injured in a mass Russian drone attack on the central Ukrainian city of Dnipro. Shehi Lysek said a restaurant complex and several residential buildings were ablaze after the attack. He added that the enemy sent more than 20 drones to the city and that most of them were shot down. Images and videos later emerged showing firefighters tackling large fires that had engulfed the building and were struck and smashed glasses and other debris scattered on the city streets. Guinea's ex-dictator Musa Dadis Camara, who was sentenced to 20 years in prison over a 2009 massacre, was pardoned for health reasons by the West African country's junta head, according to decree read out on national television. Following a landmark trial, a court found Dadis Camara guilty of crimes against humanity and sentenced in July to 20 years behind bars over what is considered one of the darkest pages of Guinea's history. On September 28, 2009, at least 156 people were killed by gunfire, knives, machetes in a massacre at an opposition rally, according to a UN-mandated International Commission of Inquiry. In sports, the boxing world is in mourning following the tragic passing of former national and West African light heavyweight champion Segun Success Olanrewaju, who died after collapsing during a fight in Ghana. Olanrewaju was competing against Ghanaian boxer John Mbanugu at Fight Night 15 of the Ghana Professional Boxing League at Bukom Boxing Arena when he suddenly lost consciousness. 6 nations will converge at the Balmoral Convention Center on April 18th for a high-stakes boxing tournament that promises to pit elite fighters against each other in a test of skill and endurance. Game Rush and Balmoral Promotions will stage the high-octane boxing event following the resounding success of their previous chaos in the ring tournament in December 2024 and the premier launch of Friday Fight Night in February 2025. The upcoming tournament will feature elite fighters from 6 countries, including Ghana, Tanzania, Egypt, Italy, the United Kingdom, and Nigeria, all competing for ring supremacy. As Global TV News Express comes to an end, let's take a look at some of our top stories. President Bola Tinubu joins Muslim faithfuls at the National Eid Prayer Ground Abuja to observe the Eid al-Fitr prayers that marks the end of the holy month of Ramadan. In business, the federal government of Nigeria has launched a credit scheme worth 2.5 billion naira to encourage the conversion of vehicles to the use of compressed natural gas. On the 4 weeks in, Ukrainian area's regional head says 4 people have been killed and another 21 injured in a mass Russian drone attack on the central Ukrainian city of Dnipro. And in sports, we told you the boxing world is in mourning following the tragic passing of former national West African light heavyweight champion Segun Success Olanrewaju, who died after collapsing during a fight in Ghana. And that's it on Global News Express. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. You can also download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. I'm Queen Agaba. Thank you for watching and see you again.